We'll talk about that in a minute. Let me say that this attribute, along with the related doctrine of God's wrath, is not politically correct. You're not going to speak in some churches about the wrath and the doctrine of justice in many churches because they have a whole different view. It is an unbiblical view of what God is. And it's politically incorrect to call God wrathful, to call people, God will send people to hell. We'd rather hear about heaven while living as if there is no hell. So what happens, many people always talk about heaven. The wickedest people talk about heaven. And everybody that dies goes to heaven. Have you noticed that? I don't care how wicked they are, how mean they are, whether they've been in church, out of church, whether they accepted Jesus as a personal Savior or not, everybody goes to heaven. I've never heard any funeral or every preacher preach, this person is in hell. Have you? Well, I take that back. I had one fella. He used to be a friend of mine, but he was preaching a funeral down in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And he said, bless God, this at the funeral. He said, bless God. I can preach that way too. He said, bless God, this man, your father, your husband, your grandfather, this man right now is crying like a fish fry in hell. Well, that brought a lot of encouragement, didn't it? That brought judgment from a man. I, as a pastor, as a preacher, as a man of God, have no right to tell you anyone is in heaven or is in hell.